right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. And what a day today. So a little bit of a down day today, right? Hope everybody had a great trading day today. Some pretty interesting stuff there. Let me just double check here. It sounds like I'm a little bit loud on this one. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So, but anyway, guys. So yeah. So a little bit of a down day here today. A little bit of follow through from yesterday. We'll see if that continues or not. But anyway, this week we've been talking about what's the deal with lumber. And kind of interesting stuff actually. Last week we talked about when is the top in, and things are certainly looking pretty toppy, right? And this week we're talking about lumber, right? And obviously it's been skyrocketing, but also interesting pullback here. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some sympathy ideas and what we can do with those. So let's take a look. Before we get started, though, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off the market today, and then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening, and what might be setting up going into tomorrow. And then we're going to take a look at the topic, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, so SPX, guys, monthly chart has turned red, down 89 points today. Woo-hoo! Is that a huge deal? I mean, it's it's definitely a down day, right? Is it the Corona crash month? No, this is the first red month, right? So far, and we still have half a month left, so it really need to see what happens here. But we've seen some bigger ranges, certainly. A couple months ago, right back in September 2020, right? We had a 378 point range. This so far is only 181 points. So we'll see how it goes here on this red candle. We might push down a little bit lower and then kind of form a spinning top like this, and maybe another red that's kind of work its way up, right? So let's see how it goes. But in the meantime, weekly chart, guys. The bearish divergence kind of playing out a little bit right here. McClellan oscillator still above the minus 100 level, so not given the added weight here to the market. But it is possible that the weekly chart does pull back to the mid Bollinger Band. We've done it a couple times here since the Corona crash. We pulled back here, we bounced, we pulled back here. Right, so a little bit of a pullback there wouldn't be so bad, and honestly, really a pullback here to the cloud wouldn't be so bad either to really get this thing going again. Because this is even if it's not on news, right? At least it's just a nice retrace, and then boom, can really get going again. So we'll see how that goes. Let's take a look. So daily chart, guys, this is day 2.5-ish under the ADMA, right? So it's kind of a big deal, right? So yesterday we talked about possible doji reversal, but also be doji sandwich. We were holding the megaphone, right, the expanding triangle pattern, and it looks like that invalidated here today, right? It still could be an undershoot, right? If you really want to stay bullish on this thing, still could be an undershoot. But one of the things we're kind of looking at right here is the potential. We could look at it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down. You could look at this as 1, 2, maybe wave 3 is still working, wave down, right? So there's a couple different possible wave counts on this one. If this is and it's pretty impulsive. So if anything, if this is the real corrective pattern, this could be a zigzag type move, right? So we definitely want to keep an eye on that. Let's take a look at the S&P futures. We'll take a look at some levels that we're looking at here throughout the day. Again, guys, today was a nice down day, but it was not easy, right? So that's kind of one of the things with volatility is right before it really kicks in, right, is typically when we get some of the best trades, right? So here on Monday, right, we had a lot of nice, really clean moves. And when you're trading levels, right, look at that, signal zone to signal zone, right, single print to single print, right? Those give us some really nice opportunities, right? And then yesterday, of course, we talked about it. We had a pretty much a choppy day, right? And so after a big move, right? So not surprised to see that. And then today, a little bit of follow through the downside, but not easy at all. So the volatility makes it tough on some options. Today we were kind of looking more at like VIX products, like the UVXY. Really nice smooth trades, right? Dips, very, very buyable. Today, trying to catch a move was tough. Why? Well, one reason is we use our signal zones right here. We had some old signal zones from April that were really, really tight ranges, right? So it's tough to get us a clear slice through there unless there's some major news. And we just didn't have any major news, right? So today was just kind of this bouncy day, and you had these down moves with these big upper shadows on the way down. Then you had this chop that didn't get any follow through. Then you had more, of this, and then chop, and a little bit up, and then down. The end of the day type stuff, right? Then chop. And so we're just kind of chopping here into tonight, right? So at this point now, I'd kind of just keep an eye on this sort of short-term geometric line here going into tonight. It could be maybe channeling down at the same time, right? We could look at this too. That if it breaks down there, and of course here's kind of like your channel move, so we'll see how that goes. But it's getting kind of tight in here. See if it breaks down and wants to test the overnight lows and where we go from there. So cool stuff. Good. All right. Well, let's get to the topic here. So this week, as you guys know, we've been talking about what's the deal with lumber. And we talked about lumber futures and kind of what they do and what they imply, and who kind of sort of trades them, right? And then we looked at the Elliott wave yesterday on lumber, and today we're going to talk about sympathy. So what do we mean by sympathy? So we mean that names that trade in sympathy, right? So as traders, one of the things we want to know is that when a market is moving or a sector is moving, right, we want to know the names in that sector that are moving along with it, right? That could be moving that we could trade, and that we can trade. And another thing that we like to look at too is other sympathy moves, right? So if one thing is moving, right, then what else is being affected by it, right? So if something in the semiconductors are moving, like sometimes like with Intel, right? If Intel has bad earnings, typically AMD goes up, right? If Intel has good earnings, AMD goes down, right? Because these kind of competitive, inverse sympathy movers, right? So so one of the big things that we noticed along the way, right, is really kind of the meaning behind of what this this lumber move has been, right? And so so one of the big things here as we've been tracking this is what it affects, right? And we talked about it. The reason that lumber really kind of started to go up here. Let me clean this up a little bit. I've got this this old all these channels up here. It makes it a little bit hard to see the chart, but pretty cool stuff here. Let me remove the open interest right here too. Okay. Cool. So so pretty cool chart actually, guys. We yesterday we talked about the pullback right here, kind of a pause, and so far here we've had a pretty interesting move here to kind of support our wave forward theory, right? So I wouldn't be surprised to see a little more downside. They kind of like that B move up, and then the wave C here to kind of test the prior wave 4 area, and then we work up for a wave 5, right? So when we started talking about lumber this week, we talked about that lumber, right, effects, right? This is part of one of the reasons for the high demand of houses, right, and building new houses. And when you have a demand for houses, there's demand for lumber. And what does demand do? It drives prices up, right? Supply and demand. And so that's what we've been seeing here with these lumber prices, right? And really continue to work their way up. And what's really kind of interesting is the price of lumber has been dropping here on the chart. There's been more news that's coming out, in the housing industry, like mortgages. There's less mortgages coming through, things like that. So that's very, very interesting to show that maybe the demand is decreasing a little bit for the new builds, and we'll see where we go from there. I really like how sometimes the charts play along with that, and anyway, so that's the idea, right? So we're building homes, we need lumber, right? So we're raising prices on this stuff. I mean, there's really, it's kind of increasing demand of it, and prices are going up. So who's benefiting? What kind of sympathy move are we looking at, right? Well, the big names that are out there, right, is the home builder sector, right? So that's your XHB, HB for home builder, right? It's an easy one to remember. X being like your Spider ETF, traditional start for an ETF. So pretty cool stuff, right? So notice how the home builders have had a pretty epic run up here too. Not as vertical as, not necessarily as vertical as the lumber sector, but still pretty significant, right? They got hit pretty hard here, not as big as lumber, but they got pretty hit hard for the Corona crash, right? Because initially, right, everything was just getting hit. They're like, oh, okay, well, nobody's going to build a home if everybody's got the pandemic. Well, it turned out that kind of changed things around. They kind of flipped the script on it, is that, no, there's a pandemic, but everybody wants to get out of the big cities, build houses. So the home builders started really just kind of working their way up really, really nicely here and trading in sympathy with lumber, right? So that's one of the things that we look at when we see these things that are like kind of irrationally moving or just moving with volume and momentum. Sometimes we want to just find something else that we could kind of tag along for the ride. Like if I see NVDA moving and I miss a move, right, I'll look at AMD throughout the day and see if that can give us like a maybe it's tailing behind it for some reason. Or I'll look at the semiconductors. If semiconductors are moving, see if NVIDIA will pull behind it, right? So that's kind of the same concept there, right? And so another one that we look at here in sympathy, right? What's one of the big home builder names out there? So Home Depot. Right, so look at Home Depot. Again, of course, pulling back with the market as well, but before even the market was giving us this big kind of pullback, Home Depot started here with the upper shadows, right? So very, very similar to the lumber move, right? So this has been an epic run up right here with the lumber move, and obviously, people buy their lumber, a lot of lumber from Home Depot, right? So that's one too, but Lowe's also in sympathy as well. So it's kind of interesting to see these home builders have this massive run up and also this really, really sharp decline. And so, and also the news stories kind of coming along with those too, talking about some demand going down for housing, mortgage applications going down, stuff like that. So very, very, very cool stuff. So now you guys can see, like when you hear that news, that economic data in the morning, when you hear what's going on with mortgage applications, things like that, you can think about who's affected by that, right? So lumber, okay, well if less people are buying houses, maybe lumber will go down. If lumber goes down, what else will go down? Maybe Lowe's and Home Depot go down, right? That type of thing. So there's obviously other home builders out there, LEN, right? A couple, KB Homes, stuff like that you can also track as well. But a couple of these names, Home Depot is one of the better ones, easier ones to trade with options. So anyway, good stuff, guys. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff there. Bullish Bearish Trades, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So you've got a couple out there. Let's take a look at Facebook. So Facebook, guys, let's get the right chart up here. There we go. Pretty cool harmonic on this one. It actually overshot the 1.618 is where I was expecting the harmonic to end, but that overshoot ended up turning into an inside day down and a retrace up. And that's one of the things I like about harmonics is once you can get these, right, you can kind of put an Elliott wave count on this and really get to start going, right? So you had this nice move right here. You had this wave 1 down, right, 2, wave 3, possibly working on wave 4, and then we'll see if we get wave 5 down, right? And we know the harmonic targets are going to be your 382, your 618, and then your 113, right? So cool stuff there on Facebook. Let's see if it gets any follow through there. Apple, again, Apple we've been kind of tracking here as well. We profiled that this weekend in the Elliott Wave show, and this had multiple counts on it, right? And one of the ones we were looking at here is possibly holding this this level, and we didn't quite hold that right this weekend, so that was another one. But we were also looking at a bearish retrace here as well, right off of this 618, big upper shadows off the 618 there. It looks like the bearish thesis is winning right now. However, it is possible, right, that it still could pull back to the 886 of that last move and try to get going again. Excuse me one second. So we'll see how that goes from there. Great chart on that one. And Amazon, yeah, bullish bearish trade. So look at that one. So Amazon, Amazonius with a let's take a look here with a pretty big, pretty sharp pullback after its kind of attempt at a triangle breakout, right? Amazon on these triangle breakers is all about trying to get in a little bit early, right? But like on the bounces off of the geometric line. So again, you know, here was a nice bounce right here. Again, remember back there with that nice wave E bounce up, right? To try to get the breakout of it, it's like right, that type of thing. But here, same thing. We pull back to the macro geometric line right here. We have an inside day, right? This geometric line is based from, because of its recent highs, right, after earnings, is based from the Corona crash low. Right, so let's see if that macro trend line can continue to hold, and we're at the inside day right here. If we start to break below there, right, confirm below there with increased volume, right, watch out, Amazon might start a fresh downtrend, right? So something to keep an eye on there too. So good stuff. Appreciate bullish bearish trades. Shirley sent a few in via email, so say Shirley, if you're watching, when you're watching out there, hope you're doing great. Let's take a look at Starbucks. So Starbucks, guys, this is on our bearish free public game plan yesterday. And nice downside follow through today, right? So this was this is kind of a good one right here too. It was kind of neat is that we got some news to support our bearish thesis on. This had one of like a weaker candle yesterday, where it was kind of hanging in there with his hanging man type candle, and you know, kind of had this pause type move and then a push down. And one of the things that we liked about this today is that the news came out that Bill Ackman ended up buying Domino's Pizza and selling some Starbucks, right? So we had that going on there. So Starbucks though, nasty candle here on the daily chart, closed below the 50-day moving average with increased volume. So let's see how it holds the cloud there, where it goes from there. But it did have a pretty epic run up there for a while. Jack in the Box, I believe earnings after hours, I think it's down. So let's take a look here. So big volume here today going into earnings, and then looks like we're down a little bit here after hours. It's a kind of a thinly traded name, so a little bit of caution there. But see how it holds. It looks like 107-ish is going to put us, wow, that's going to put us, no, 111. That's going to put us under the 50-day moving average as well. So let's see how that holds there. Good stuff. Len, speaking of home builders, that's good. Yeah, so Len is one of them. This is one of the ones that we were talking about, Sympathy movers potentially, right? So if you kind of look at the home builder names, right? Let's go here to the daily chart. So hasn't been as smooth, right, as Home Depot, but it's been working its way up. And of course, this recent pullback here has been pretty sharp here for these names. So pretty cool stuff there. And it's interesting to see that lumber is down too, right? So cool stuff. A couple other ones here. Well, if you're gonna get a house, right, you need to put a car in the garage, right? So let's go to car. Avis Budget Group, but it's a rental one. So I think you can still buy from them though. But under the 80-MA right here, increased volume on that one. Sitting at the 50-day moving average. A lot of names sitting at the 50-day. So let's see how that holds here going into tomorrow. And then Yum. Let's take a look at Yum. Yum. So Yum Brands. I think there's some news on this one too recently. Yeah, big volume day yesterday under the 80-MA and some follow through here. I think there's some news on it yesterday. But anyway, keep an eye on it. Could still keep trying to work its way down. So good stuff there. Mike, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing great. Yeah, so Tesla, guys. I mean, you guys heard it here first. At least I think you did. This is, we've been bearish on Tesla for a while. We've got this Elliott wave count on it here. I think I talked about it this week, if not, a bunch of other weekends here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, impulsive move down for a zigzag right after its move up. A, B, C, up, and then finishing the wave down. 1, 2. Remember how I said how important this candle was, this retrace candle right here, that it didn't overshoot the wave 1? Keeping a bearish count intact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the gap fill. Potential, right? Potential. And I think it's down a little bit after hours too. Elon Musk was talking about tweeting out here today saying it's like, we're not using Bitcoin anymore because it takes too much energy to mine it, and that's just not part of our carbon footprint thesis, right? That type of thing. So in other words, maybe Dogecoin's going to go to the moon after this. We'll see how that goes. But also what it means too is that a big source of income for Tesla on their balance sheet was Bitcoin as well. And the market might not, react too nicely to that too. Seeing, because like, okay, well, yeah, you beat on earnings because of Bitcoin, but if you're not dealing with Bitcoin anymore, now what are we dealing with? You got to post profit on cars. Anyway, so we got that. Oh, nice, Mike, you hit it short for a nice short on it today. Great job. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it was tough today on just about everything today, and it was not like the most beautiful candle. Yesterday was tough, but today there's some nice retraces on it, right? So you had a nice retrace here at the open here off the signal zone. Nice retrace here for a good, decent move. This was actually, in my opinion, this is probably the best one right here today. Just off of that, right off the 80 kind of gave you a nice leg on that. So, but pretty cool stuff there. Good job. Fantastic. Otas, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Facebook, we looked at it a little bit earlier, but all good. Let's take a look at it here. And Facebook, pretty interesting. It actually finished green candle today. Still down a little bit, but below the 80 MA right here, it is holding the prior resistance level right here as potential support. So let's see if that continues to hold here for Facebook. And then we've also got the Qs. Yeah, so the Qs, a lot of names, getting a little bit oversold-ish. But the Qs, remember we were looking at the 50-day here today on SPX. Qs didn't really care that much, right? They ended up gapping below it, retesting the 50-day, and pushing right below the cloud. So big volume here today. It still could work its way down if it wanted to. Next levels are, kind of in this 310 to 315 area. So something to keep an eye on there. And Roku, let's take a look. Roku million. So Roku again with an upper shadow here today as well. So again, this is very similar to the Tesla count, right? We had that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 AVC up 1, 2, 3. So, but we had a couple overlaps here, which Tesla didn't. Right after earnings, we ended up overlapping that wave 1, right? And so that could kind of just make this an ending diagonal, right? So this could finish it. I would say this one probably is not going to get to 200 before starting to bounce, but we'll see how that goes. So good stuff there. And Otas says SPY wants a gap from 4. I know, yeah, exactly. So like we said, anything's possible, right? We're really, really close to it right here. So let's see how it goes. Now, if we end up gapping below it, woo, what an island top we'll have up here. That'd be pretty amazing there for this SPY. So cool stuff there too. Good. So Reed, thanks so much. Yeah, so Bitcoin, let's take a look. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. Oh, wow, yeah. So Bitcoin, that news didn't help at all, right? That Elon Musk news. So down 3,800 points right here. So wow, big flush off of the Bitcoin. This has been tough, right? We've been talking about this in the bubble report every day. We're like, it's kind of getting tight, right? We're getting ready to contraction to expansion. And it finally broke down a couple of our geometric levels that we've been sharing with the group right here. We had a nice triangle today, and then boom, break down to the downside, right? So nice stuff there. Again, let's see how it holds, right? It's got time for folks to try to buy the dip on that one, and we'll see if they do. Let's take a look at the Fibonacci's right here off of the last kind of move up right here. If it's a little bit of diagonal move, where it looks like we're already below, right at the 618 right there. So let's see if that holds tonight. Prior support level right here too that we kind of held previously here at the basically 50,000 level, and then below there the next level is about 45,000. So keep an eye on that for Bitcoin. So good stuff there. So David, yeah, WFG. Let's take a look. WFG. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see WFG. Why can't my fingers type that? There we go. So yes, WFG looking interesting right here. So remember we had that big shooting star candle here. So again, good follow through off of that one. Again, tough to chase right now. The volume is kind of declining on this down move, but I do like it under the 80 MA there if you're bearish on it. So that's something we got over there. X for U.S. Steel marking the spot. Let's take a look and see how that did. Wow, woo. Inverted hot dog pattern right now. So again, increased volume pullback here just below the 80 MA as well. And then Ethereum, I can't really pull that up here too well, but I can pull up the ETH. And that's been cruising its way up here as well. A little bit of a pullback here, but big upper shadow off the 4,400 area. So good stuff there. John, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. PSX, good for a move in the weekly option. Nice. Let's take a look here. So PSX. Let's see. PSX, yeah, we talked about this yesterday. Good push right there today. I know you're liking the potential bullishness in the gas names, so good. Yeah, nice pop here this morning. Good candle again. The whole oil sector was strong this morning too, so good find on that one for the reversal. Good job. And what else? What else? Good for moving. Good options. Digital the red. Laser. Let's take a look. Laser. Yeah, so Laser again. Earnings coming up tomorrow after the close. So a little bit of a choppy day today. A lot of names are kind of funky today. But a bit of a doji here with an upper shadow off the ADMA on Laser. So we'll see how that one goes there too. NVDA. So NVIDIA, guys, it's actually up a little bit here after hours. Not sure how the Bitcoin news is going to play in for NVIDIA right here, but this thing's been struggling. At this point now, I really would kind of say this flag is basically invalidated. It's getting about the same length as the flagpole itself. So looking rough right here, but you do have a macro upper trend line here that you can see how that holds as support. So good stuff there. And then Overstock, like we always say, if you ever get bored, always see what Overstock's up to, right? So OSTK, let's take a look. So OSTK, nice flush here below the 50-day and the 200-day. So 50-day here, 200-day right here, and increased volume with that one, and approaching the bottom of the clouds to see how that holds. Good stuff. Thanks, John. Really appreciate it. GG, what's going on? The PLBY. Let's take a look. So PLBY, again, still pulling back here, kind of an exuberant move, right? We lost the channel a couple days ago, double inside day down, and still getting some follow through on this one, and it looks like they eked out like a penny profit on that one, so we'll see how that goes. Sharon, UPST, how about that one? We talked about that last night, and this had a big move last earnings, kind of had this really crazy momentum move, right? There's acquisition news and stuff like that, and today we talked about, I think yesterday we talked about where it was gapping here, and after hours, we're like, unless it can get over this level, we might see a big fade on this one, and that's exactly what we got today. We talked about that last night. So good stuff there. See how it holds, right? It looks like it already faded the gap, but we might just chop around there for a while. Zumba with the hot dog pattern. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So we had a let's see, what did we end up doing here today? So we opened at 2. Yeah, this one's kind of close right here. So you got a red, green, red. So it's an inverted hot dog pattern. It looks like a foot long in there. But yeah, definitely a reversal because we had down, up, and then kind of down in this inside day. So I would really just kind of keep an eye on those inside day levels there and just see how it handles those, right? If it can't break above it, look for it to come back and try to retest the other level. But Zoom getting kind of tight in there too. So let's see how that goes. Good stuff, Sharon. Awesome. MLB BLDE. Let's take a look. Yeah, BLDE. So Blade Air Mobility. Again, huge inside day off of, it looks like kind of an IPO-ish type move right here. So see how it handles those levels. Wants to break up. Obviously, shorting out probably not possible right now, but we'll see how that goes if we can try to get above that level. But it does seem to be defending those IPO lows. And then the PACB hanging in here above the 200-day moving average, looking okay, but below the declining ADMA, which is below the 50 days. So really tight range, kind of a bow tie right here. I'd wait to see if we can get any movement off of this inside day candle. So good stuff there. And OTAS, so bullish or bearish on MRNA? Let's take a look. So MRNA. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully it goes down, right? So that's how I feel about most of these names, but these weird biotech names. But we'll see how it goes, right? So if this thing's kind of hanging up here, hanging it here, we're kind of chopping in the middle of a range right now. So we're really, like you said, this is a tough one. I mean, the fact that we're under the ADMA does give it kind of a bearish lean. We're sitting on a flat 50-day with an inside day, right? So you're in the middle of a complete range, in the middle of a day, right? And in the middle of two different moving averages. So this is really tough. We just kind of see which way it goes. But because it's under a declining ADMA, let's lean bearish, right? And if it breaks down below today's lows off of the inside day, we might get a momentum move here if it can't hold the 50-day. So we'll see how it goes from there. But we'll see. You never know. I mean, this thing could, they come on news, more vaccines or whatever, and it starts ripping its way back to the upside. So we'll see how it goes there. Again, I typically don't trade those names. Coinbase. Yeah, so Coinbase, guys. Oh, Kathy had 2 winning days in a row. And it's like, I think that's just that's a little bit too much, right? So they push it back down here today. We've got earnings coming up on this one tomorrow after the close. So let's see how that holds there. But rough little pullback there today after 2 green days and back below the ADMA here as well. So pretty wild stuff. Anyway, good stuff, guys. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. I hope you have been enjoying this topic here on what's the deal with lumber. And today was a cool topic with sympathy. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. And again, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you're new here, please click subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification button. We put a lot of videos out throughout the day that can be very helpful if you're trading intraday or if you're just looking for something to watch during lunchtime. If you're at work, you'll be like, hey, this is what's going on with the market, that type of thing. But either way, guys, we'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. We'll see all our Bubble Report subscribers in the Bubble Report and all our Discord members in the Discord too. So looking forward to that as well. See you. If Bitcoin loses tonight, Coinbase may go. Oh, I know. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Poor Kathy. Anyway, guys, good stuff, guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening and stay healthy out there. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game.